All right. Greetings, everyone. It's Sunday morning, May 3rd, but this will be posted um, for the week starting, the semester starting May 4th, 2020. I'm Don Walker, Dr. Don Walker, your professor for ITS836, Data Science and Big Data Analytics. And nice, long, normal 16-week semester this summer. So we'll get done out there in the middle of August. And hopefully we'll all be to normal, um, back to normal life, somewhat by then. It's certainly an uncomfortable and strange time for us all. So this is just a welcome and course overview. We won't be getting into any particular depth of content in data science and big data analytics. Just a quick introduction to the course and myself and the overall flow of the next 16 weeks. Here is your overview. I'll tell you a little bit about myself, the course. No books to buy. There's a couple I need you to download or access at the library. Talk about the assignments that we have this semester. Special note about academic honesty and my expectations, and then I'll conclude. I don't expect this to take terribly long. I already have a 30-minute lecture on on academic writing and software engineering in the folder, so this will just supplement that content. So, okay, so my background um, started off in electronics repair. I was an electronics technician on military aircraft. Most of my professional experience is in the United States military defense sector, public service. Um, I got into out of electronics and into software development in 1988. I learned with assembler COBOL Fortran, but found myself at my first actual software development job was working with Oracle and Pascal. It was a VAX mini computer, like a mainframe multi-user computer. And the preferred language on that VAX by my leadership was Pascal, which was a perfectly fine general purpose language. I learned a lot with that one. But it did a lot of work with Oracle too, database, data entry screens and reports and data analysis, RDBMS fundamentals. That was a really good time. And then I moved into some desktop software development with DBase 3 and Turbo Pascal, back into multi-user systems with Unix and Oracle. Fielded some worldwide applications. That was great. Love software development. But the the Air Force, in the mid '90s, about 10 years into my IT career, the strategic direction changed, and we went from having insourcing software development to outsourcing that to either commercial off-the-shelf software or contractor developed software. So there's not a whole lot of people anymore in government service writing software. Not not so much anymore in the U.S. anyway. Um, so I got out of software engineering somewhat after a good little while, and got into telecommunications. I got a master's degree in telecommunications from Southern Methodist University, and moved into network management and design and those sorts of things. And that was very interesting. It was I thought they were very complementary skills within information technology. And then as I moved up through management, I had to associate myself more with enterprise information systems and the way large scale systems are used for planning and executing operations, sharing information, archiving information. I got into records management for a while, records and information management. Currently, I run a small full stack coding boot camp, concentrating in either Java or C Sharp. But we're moving into a data science. I'll be teaching a data science uh, boot camp later this summer. So we're concentrating at the Arkansas Coding Academy. We are concentrating on getting people into the workforce. It's not. I work at the University of Central Arkansas. I'm on the staff there, not the faculty. Um, it's a workforce development. A lot of these people already have degrees. Sometimes they're in liberal arts, and you probably realize how hard it is to get a job with a bachelor's in psychology or theater or English or European history. We help people retrain into IT and get them into um, a lot of them in full stack development. Some of them are in like just strictly back end Java programming or database development. Some of them move strictly into front end development because they like that user interface. My education, I have a management information systems undergraduate that I completed completely like you are now um, in in my spare time. I took classes lunchtime, evenings, Saturdays um, um, to get my undergraduate degree, but it was all conventional in person. I graduated really before anybody had even really heard of the internet. Then, like I said, I got my master's in telecommunications from SMU, and that was similarly. It wasn't online, but it was distance. I had the taped lectures mailed to me on VHS. This is 20 years ago now. VHS tape, so that I was watching the lecture, 4 or 5 days after the instructor held the lecture, and then I had the same papers and tests the that the in residence students had, and I could email questions, and so it was very much like being there. I was just watching the lecture on my television instead of in front of me. And then I got my doctorate in computer science, concentration in enterprise information systems, a little over a year ago last year. So that's my education and my professional background. A little more about my character that you need to recognize being students in a class I'm teaching. I'm helpful. I'll go out of my way to help you. If you come and meet me halfway, if you do a little bit of your own research and you're still a little confused, you're welcome to email me a question and I'll help you. I'm honest. Some instructors will tell you you're doing great when you're not, and they'll let you just fail. Um, I will give you honest feedback. I will ask you honest, challenging questions, and I'll give you an honest appraisal of your work. So you can count on me to be honest. I wouldn't take the university's money and just give you all A's and just go on about my business. That's not being honest. So if you've had professors that you were able to just, you know, post anything and you realize it's not very good and they go, great, wonderful. I'm probably not that guy. Okay. Um, so I'm energetic and I'm hardworking. I think because of my time in the military and my time as a software developer, I am precise. I expect precise language. So when you're writing, you will need to choose your words very carefully. Every word on the page counts, and you need to choose them precisely. I'm very friendly. I have lots of friends. I've lived all over the world, all over the country, and I've got great friends from them that I'm quite proud to call friends. And I'm trustworthy. I've had a military career and a top secret security clearance for all of my adult life. So I've always been in positions of trust. I'm currently in a position of trust at the University of Central Arkansas as the director of the Arkansas Coding Academy. So I'm used to being a public figure and having my activities scrutinized. Now, this last bullet on this screen, I need for you to understand. Some of you are going to ask me for a do-over. You're going to say, "Oh gosh, I didn't understand. Can I please resubmit an assignment?" Or hey, I was uh, um, I was really busy at work and I couldn't get my assignment done. Um, great. Uh, I'm not understanding of that. I'm not sympathetic to that. I don't. I never asked for forgiveness for turning in late work. You either get it in on time or you don't. Um, and there's no late assignments in this course. So get your work in early. Don't wait until the weekend because you never know what might happen. Now, particularly at this time and juncture, if any of you become ill, either with COVID-19 or not, don't don't come to me and say I was sick. Can I have more time? uh, get a get some sort of doctor's note, talk to your academic counselor, and work it through the university through your academic counselor. I'm not going to adjudicate. Uh, some of you, if you get sick, you can work through the university to get an accommodation, um, but don't just tell me, "Hey, I was busy," or "Hey, I was sick," or anything like that, and expect me to be sympathetic. Unfortunately, far too many people have made false claims like that in my academic career. I've been teaching college online for 15 years. Um, for me to act on that, I'm sorry. It's not fair to everyone else. So yeah, if you get sick or ill, work through the university disability office and your academic counselor, and just you're welcome to keep me in the loop as to how that's going. Um, and early is better than late. Don't disappear and come back, 3 weeks and say, "Oh, hey, can I make all that work up?" Let me know. Communicate, communicate, communicate with me. Um, there you go. Okay, so the course objectives are in the syllabus. It's pretty straightforward. It's about data science and big data. So we'll be looking at R and Python and uh, Hadoop and the Hadoop file system and MapReduce algorithms, and talking about all of that more from an academic standpoint than a hands-on standpoint. It would be great if we could do a big data project where we instantiate 500 virtual servers on Amazon Web Services and ingest 2 terabytes of email or social media. That'd be wonderful. I've got several data sets that I would love to do that with, but we don't have the resources and expertise. I'm not a Hadoop developer, uh, but I'm hoping through the introductions that we'll find out who of you out there are currently working in data science. And if you are working with any of these particular tools and techniques, please let me know. I'd love to conduct a Zoom session with you and go over um, um, your projects, what you're currently working on, and those techniques. And I'll be dropping in some some more specific technical content throughout the course, but it's pretty well laid out that it's a reading and writing course. And my supervisor, the chairman of the PhD department in CIS, Dr. Steve Brown, specifically mentioned writing. They want you to write in this course, write originally, write clearly, write accurately, write specifically, but to write in this course because there's so much problems with writing, and I'll get into that a little bit more. And we are dropping in about 4 or 5 weeks of blockchain at the end because there are no specific blockchain courses to feed the blockchain specialty. We're going to talk about blockchain, and I'll roll in um, uh, writing techniques and analysis techniques about blockchain and data science, sort of looking at them both. But be prepared to write. If you thought this was another master's degree that you could just consume information and take a test or complete a hands-on project, that's not what being a doctor is all about. Being a PhD is all about conducting research and reporting the results of that research, which is all writing. That's just the way it works. That's just the system. So we're not going to fight the system. We're going to learn to work within it and do a lot of writing. Throughout the course, I'll also be introducing some dissertation and writing support. I have found in teaching ITS832, and I've taught one of the master's courses, 631, um, and now I'm teaching 836. Writing is and getting ready for a dissertation um, is not covered very well at the beginning of the course, and students are not necessarily going out of their way to learn more about it. So I introduce it in my course, and so do other instructors. So we'll talk a little bit more about getting through your dissertation, the major building blocks of your dissertation, and scholarly writing. Okay. No books to buy this term, but I need you to go to the library and make sure that you can access these two textbooks. If you have trouble, contact the library. These are both wide open on the search screen. If you just search for the title, um, you should have full access to them um, through the publisher's database browser. I could not download the full PDF, so I had to log into the library, log into the classroom, and go access them as a authenticated user. And then we'll pull in other books as we need them, but I'll make sure it's something that's free. Apologize, I get dry when I talk. Okay, so that's the books. Your assignments this week. I'm sorry. Your assignments this class are are typical of this program. You'll have discussion questions, and please don't use the app, the Blackboard app, to write. Use a legitimate keyboard and web browser. You'll have 7 discussion questions, 5 papers. Submit them as Word documents, not PDFs, not open document format, or MS Word, Microsoft Word. You'll have a final research project. Um, and for your assignments, I want to make sure that you read the syllabus section on reuse and repurposing. Um, you can use previous stuff you've turned in, but no more than 20%. I see some people trying to just cut and paste something that they've and turn it in, or I'm sorry, safe assign uh, lights it up as 100% plagiarized, and it's your own work, but you can't use previous work to satisfy 100% of anything in this course. And I will go so far as to say nothing. There's nothing you've posted previously that's going to really fit the bill here. So I would start over again and use the opportunity to practice writing. And also, in line with um, writing and problems we've seen with writing is I did about a half an hour lecture a couple semesters ago called Academic Writing for Systems Engineers, and it spells out something that I see lacking often in Cumberland's PhD IT students, and that's writing to a specification, like you code to a specification. Big bold letters here, no late assignments and no do-overs. If by chance something I messed up the instructions, you're welcome to email me, and please before it's due, but not afterward. And if you get a 0 because I tell you, you know, this had nothing to do with the instructions, you don't get a do-over. Just like in life, if you turned in uh, something at work that was nonsense, your boss would hold it against you. It would count against you. And the same is true in here. So no late assignments, no do-overs. Okay, your residency session, and this is going to be online. It would have normally been in Washington, D.C., but it's going to be online. That's a marathon session. That's like 5 hours on a Friday night, 12 hours on a Saturday, and another 5 hours on a Sunday morning. But we will knock out a comprehensive um, combined research paper and presentation. Um, that's half of your grade. Um, and then you'll do a practical connection assignment where you will link the course's material to um, your professional world. Um, okay, so yeah, that's 5th through 7th of June. So just coming up in a month here, and we'll get half of your grade satisfied and done. Okay, that's only half though. Takes over 90% to get an A, and everybody wants an A. Okay, so I do have to have a particular talk about academic honesty, as I said in uh, the um, the overview. You guys need to realize that this is a huge problem at the University of the Cumberlands. Okay, so I'm going to go over how to stay out of trouble. Uh, Rewording someone else's, and I'll go into this in a little more detail. Rewording someone else's sentence structure, or even more than one sentence or a paragraph, and just changing a word here and there is still plagiarism. Do you understand that? It's the structure of their writing is is cheating. It would be just like if you submitted a new architectural drawing for a building and it was a different color, but it was the same structure that the other architect had assigned had designed. Same issue. You can't just change a few words. You've got to do your own writing. Okay. Now, here's another thing, and I got another whole another slide on this. These article spinners and paraphrasing websites. These things are rampant among PhD IT students at the University of the Cumberlands, and it is horrible. It's a horrible, horrible, disgusting, terrible approach to education. That when I see it in your work, it jumps out at me as a native English speaker. Jumps out at me, and it makes me angry. You need to realize that uh, this is cheating, um, and cheating makes me angry. So I will be angry with you. And as we learned previously, I'm not particularly forgiving or understanding, particularly of cheaters. So enough said about that. First offense, you'll fail the assignment. I don't report the first offense to the university. Second offense, I turn a detailed report into the university, and you are removed from the roster and failed. I had to do that last term. And I slept like a baby at night. Like I said, I have no empathy for cheaters. So that report goes to the university, and then if you do it in the next course, because you're gone, you're out of the course, all your work is for nothing, and you get an F. Um, the The third offense is actually, well, it would be a report that goes to the university, and they dismiss you from the IT program, the PhD IT program. And I know this program means a lot to you guys. Passing it means a lot. It's important to many of your residency and visa requirements, and that's why you should take it seriously and not try to fake your way through it or cheat your way through it. You should put in the work, and you get out of it what you put into it. Okay, so the next set of bullets there is just write originally, and that means sitting down at your keyboard writing. Okay, so Control C, Control V, cut and paste are your enemies. Okay, so I can see when you're cutting and pasting content, and more advanced students will be able to see less advanced students trying to get away with that. Don't reword. Don't cut and paste anything into your paper. Every word you type out should be original. And and also don't look at something and type what you see, okay? Write in your own words and then edit it, use Grammarly, make sure it make sure that it said what you wanted it to say, but write originally. This is my fourth semester with Cumberland's. Um, I hold out hope. I hold out hope. But like I said, cutting and pasting isn't paraphrasing; it's cheating. And I've got another video out there where I demonstrate a bibliographic software called EndNote and Microsoft Word together, and I talk a little bit more about paraphrasing to back up your point versus just changing the wording of someone else's stuff. So you'll see. It's easy. Don't try to pass off something you found on the internet as your own. That's but it happens all the time. I had to fail half my class last semester uh, for cutting and pasting stuff from the internet or the book or whatever. Write originally. It's, this is easy. You guys are PhD students, and this is something that any 10-year-old can understand. So I don't have any sympathy, and I will not hesitate. Sometimes it almost feels good reporting that academic dishonesty, because, like I said, I have such contempt and disdain for cheaters. But I love hardworking fellow professionals. I love helping people that are willing to put in the work and just need a little bit of help, direction, advice. Love helping those people. So be one of those people. Don't be a cheater. Okay, now here is here's a slide I developed right after I found out what an article spinner or paraphrasing tool or whatever you want to call them. You all know what they are. So some people will pretend I've never even heard of that, and you're lying. Okay, so I used paraphrasingtool.com's output uh, um, to spin something that I wrote. Um, and there may be a word or two out there that that fit together. But anyway, the top block is something I wrote. The bottom block is paraphrasingtool.com's output. And I won't go through the whole thing, but look, like on the top line there, my paper that I wrote reviews the literature focusing on a specific type of user group, a specific type of user group within knowledge workers. And look at what the article spinner did to it. A particular sort of client bunch. Now, like I said, that may sound okay. but if it does, you really need to work on your English colloquialisms, because there's no such thing as a client bunch. There are user groups for certain, but there are no client bunches. And uh, knowledge worker got changed to information laborer. There's no such thing as an information laborer. Okay, you will use industry jargon here in this class, and one thing that jumps out at me and makes me hit instant zero is changing big data to large information. Large information researchers. And as soon as I see that, I know it's coming out of an article spinner, or it's something that you found on a study site that came from an article spinner. Either way, it doesn't matter to me. So when I see that, it's an instant zero. Just be warned. And if by chance you feel like your English is lacking in a certain colloquialism, email me. Email me what you want to say, but you're having trouble with the phrasing, and I'll help you. But don't beg forgiveness or deny that you're using, that you're cheating when I see nonsense like this. And I got another couple examples. Um, okay, so that's all I'm going to say about that. Um, I'll just address it when it comes up. Okay, so expectations for discussion boards. I would like you all to get started early in the week. Um, I see people, cramming all of their time into Sunday evening, and it's not going to work. It's not going to get you there. It's not going to get you through the class. So read, watch the lectures, check out the classroom on Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening. I usually get everything posted by lunchtime or so on Sunday. Um, um, Check out the week's material. Um, watch the lecture, and then post your initial reply by Thursday night and your replies to everybody else. And I like to see 3 replies to me or fellow students. So a total of 4 posts is what I'm looking for in the discussion board by you. So try and do your responses by Saturday night, and that gives you Sunday to kind of go back and look. If somebody asks you a question and you wanted to answer it, or vice versa, that gives you Sunday to kind of clean things up, say thank you if somebody answered your question, those sorts of things. Discussion boards, Safe Assign doesn't track it, but I'll use Google search, and if you see one um, that that looks perfect, you should Google it too. Um, anyway, so yeah, use a couple of APA formatted citations and references. There will be no point in this class when just posting a URL um, in your initial response will be appropriate. Please use APA formatting in your initial reply to the discussion question. Now, if you're discussing a topic with somebody and they ask a question, then in your response to a fellow student or me, then yeah, just a URL is fine. But I want everybody to practice APA in their initial response that's due by Thursday night. Okay, so in the discussion boards, I want to see um, professional but personal language. Um, I want the discussion boards to sound kind of like a workplace discussion you might have in the conference room, or at the water cooler, or waiting for the elevator at work. So it's professional. It's about a workplace topic, or an academic topic, but it's you talking to someone else. You wouldn't lecture someone uh, without losing friends or becoming a stereotype on a television show. So uh, you avoid personal pronouns in your writing assignments. You write them in academic tone, but I encourage you to say, I worked somewhere and I learned that this tool works fine. And my team did this and we learned this and we were really proud. I encourage you in your class discussion to use personal pronouns and be conversational. Okay. I'll get into a little bit more about that later here. Also, I've tried to do this consistently where I'm using the Blackboard post first feature, where you will not see any conversation until you post your response, and that's to avoid, unfortunately, too many students that just read what everybody else posted, uh, and then I've actually had students cut and paste their previous somebody else's post exactly. Like, are you kidding me? These are identical, and people try and get away with it. It's sick, sick. Okay, so uh, continuing on my expectations for discussion boards, here's an example of an unacceptable response, and I see this a lot, and it's pointless. It's pointless for you. It's pointless for the person that you post with. It's just checking the block. Yeah, there. You happy? I went in and I posted. Okay. So this this is something I've actually pulled out of a discussion board. The first two sentences. Greetings, colleague. Your post is full of wisdom, and you are obviously an expert. So you're spending way too much time being nice. As long as you're not mean, you're nice. You don't have to go out of your way to tell somebody how fantastic they are. It was well organized and contained useful information that I appreciate. Okay, if you have to say that, go ahead. But if that's half of your post, it's inappropriate. Okay, don't use pleasantries to fill up, an inordinate amount of space. One sentence, hey, I really liked what you said about something. That's great. But then, uh, I can't stand reading these posts. I want to add some points, and then blah 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 blah. Just like you're an expert, like you've already got your PhD and you've been in this field for years and years and years and years and years. And a lot of times it's just simplistic stuff that's found on the internet or in the book. Um, you know, so when I see that wind up, that wind up to the, I just want to add some points. Um, I know it's not going to be good. It's never good. Uh, Now, if you want to say, I worked on a similar project 2 years ago, and I thought such and such and such and such, that's great. That's fantastic. But uh, the third bullet here, don't lecture your classmates. Don't, I want to add some points, and this big data analysis is a growing trend, and don't treat the discussion board like that. Please. You are there to discuss, which is back and forth. That's a two-way conversation. So your posts should invite conversation. Now, your initial reply is going to be a little like academic writing. It doesn't have to be. You can definitely share your opinions and experience and what you've learned reading in your initial post so that it sounds conversational. It doesn't sound like you're trying to sound like a PhD. I'm trying to sound smart. Uh, I would prefer discussion boards stay conversational. Um, And this last bullet here, what I don't see frequently enough in the University of Cumberland's PhD IT student body is holding people accountable. Um, I've read initial brief posts and I'm reading it. It's in perfect English, technically detailed, and you can even tell that it came from a paper because it says this study did something or this paper will address. And I'm like, this is a discussion post. You didn't conduct a study. What are you talking about? And people, students will reply to that and say, you know, greetings, colleague. Your post is full of wisdom, and you are obviously an expert. And I'm thinking, no, no, it's not full of wisdom, and they're not obviously an expert. They're obviously a cheater. So you guys need to self-regulate. The definition of a profession is a vocation that is self-policing, like the American Medical Association, the American Bar Association. They police themselves in professions. And you all are professional IT professionals. You need to be self-policing. When someone posts something that's a reply to you and has nothing to do with your post, call them on it. Reply to them and say, what are you talking about? What were you thinking when you posted this? Because I don't understand. If someone posts something, an original reply, and it's obviously plagiarized, call them on it, reply to it, and show us where you found their wording. Uh, you all need to hold each other accountable, or I mean it. You'll get through this degree, and your PhD from the University of Cumberland's will be meaningless because you let this program turn into a joke, a sick joke. Um, it's to that point, folks. It's to that point with this program. You all need to fix it, or you all will suffer the consequences. Okay, everything you do should be APA format. Uh, Enough said. There's enough information for you there on this page. I've already been talking too long. Um, some general concepts here. I had a video chat with a student last semester who was putting in 2 or 3 hours a week and wondering why his grades were terrible. This is easily 12 to 15 hours a week, particularly um, um, as you get into more challenging concepts. I expect you to check your email daily and answer my emails promptly, like as you read it. I'm not going to ask you anything that's going to require you to go do a bunch of research or thought. I may ask you, hey, what was in that article that you cited that backed up your point? I do that a lot because I see a lot of people just pasting references in to try and look like an academic article, but they're not really actually writing. Um, they're not actually using that source to back up their point. Um, I expect an answer immediately. Sometimes I'll do this on like, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday when I'm doing feedback. And if I don't get your answer, same day, I'll just give you a 0 and move on. So you expect me to check my email daily, right? You expect me to answer my questions, answer your questions. Well, I expect the same thing. This is a two-way street. I expect you to ask questions. Don't apologize after the fact because you were confused about something and you turned it in anyway. If you've got a question, ask it. Uh, this is the only class that I'm adjuncting. Some of your professors, they've got 10 classes going on. They're overloaded. This is the only course I'm currently teaching. If you've got a question, ask. Okay. Monitor your feedback. I post feedback uh, no later than the following Saturday. So within the next week, I try and early in the semester, I try and get on it really quickly so that you understand, you get feedback sooner. But monitor your feedback, and you don't get the grade that you thought you deserved, ask me a question. Ask me about your feedback. Um, okay, this fifth bullet? I say don't even go to study sites. Okay, there is University of Cumberland's material that has been posted to the internet by cheaters uh, all over the internet. I've seen it all, and it's most of it is garbage. Most of it is garbage, and I laugh and then I give a zero when I see that someone went to a study site and used someone else's garbage. Now, what I try to do to help fight that study site thing is I will reword the discussions and the assignment instructions. So you may see a similar article, but a slightly different article that I've substituted. And when I deviate from the syllabus, I will tell you. Um, like this week for the discussion one, I changed it. That discussion board is out on study.com or whatever it is. Um, the way it was phrased last semester. So I changed it. So whatever garbage is on study.com or Course Hero is irrelevant. So don't even go there. Don't even go to those study sites. And besides, what are you doing here? I have to ask anybody who's using Course Hero and posting material to it. I have to wonder, why are you even in college if that's what you're trying to do? Um, and God forbid, or have mercy on any of your future students if you do get your doctorate that way somehow, and you're teaching people, uh, and you have no idea what you're doing. I feel sorry for anyone that comes in contact with you professionally or academically if you got through a PhD by going to Course Hero. Okay. Uh, so don't make me feel this second to the last bullet. Don't make me feel like your adversary. Okay. Like trying to make me prove that you cheated or prove that you used an article spinner, or ignoring my emails. Um, uh, this is a real relationship. I am a real person. I have my camera enabled. um, and I will attempt uh, real interaction with you. If you treat me like a robot or an adversary, an enemy, somebody that is in the way of your studies as opposed to someone that's there to help you along, it won't go well because I am here to help you if you're willing to put in the honest effort for this course. I'll make sure that you get through. Um, and finally, that last expectation I mentioned a little bit previously: get started each new week early. Get started early. I try to get everything posted by midday Sunday so that you should be done. If you're cramming, if you're still doing your work on Sunday night, I can't help you. You just have to budget your time earlier in the weekend. And people will say, "Oh, I couldn't," and they got a bunch of excuses, and it's all garbage. No, you have the time throughout the week if you manage your time and prioritize your studies. You have it. So anyway, if you don't, maybe you shouldn't be in the program. I'm just saying. Get started early. Okay, so here in the first week, there's some particular to-dos, and you need to make sure you do a couple of them, or you'll get automatically dropped from the course. So first, make sure you can access both of the texts that I put up there, the data science and the blockchain text. Go to the university library, log in, search for them, and make sure you can access them. And then I want you to browse chapter 1 and 2 of data science. It'll give us a common vocabulary starting next week when we start moving into the course content. Make sure you introduce yourselves in the getting started folder. I put specific things I need to know about you in there. So be specific in addressing those instructions. Hopefully you'll get that done soon. And I emailed everyone today I will use how long it takes you to email me back as a measure of your commitment to this class. I've already gotten a few responses on a Sunday night, and class hadn't started yet. So I should be getting, replies from everyone's email by tomorrow night, by Monday night. Or I know uh, you're not engaging. So yeah, we've got a particular data science project to discuss this week. It was pretty interesting using some text mining techniques and some formula. And I'm basically asking you what you all what you think of that project and everything. I thought it was pretty interesting. I used the word cloud in my own dissertation. They can be helpful in an initial text mining, giving you an impression, especially communicating to users. Word clouds are really good at data storytelling. So yeah, read the methodology. It's not a long paper. It's not particularly well written either. I'm quite sure that the authors are not native English speakers, which can have trouble when a native English speaker is reading it. And then I need you to watch the tutorials in the Getting Started folder. So you have several videos to watch early this week. My academic writing for software engineers, this lecture, the tutorials in the Getting Started folder. They talk about academic writing and Grammarly and tools like that. Um, I'm going to expect you uh, to watch those things, and I turn on tracking so I can tell what links in the classroom you are clicking on what day. So if you blow off school um, uh, until the end of the week, it'll show in the statistics tracking. So I will be doing data analysis, data science to know who's taking class seriously and who is not. Okay. So in conclusion, my detailed CV is in the My Instructor link on the left side of your screen. Read the syllabus carefully. Um, there's things like the late policy and the reuse policy and whatnot are all in there. My expectations for discussion, substantive discussions are in there. I talk about zero tolerance for plagiarism in there. It's all in there. So guys, I'm hoping maybe a year into the program, things are changing, but I don't know. Like I said, uh, 37 people from ITS 836 were failed last semester for academic dishonesty. 37 just this last semester, just this spring semester. For all I know, some of you are among that crowd, and you're attacking this a second time. So, yeah, um, academic honesty. I would think it'd be something different. I would think it would be the material itself, or anyway. So I look forward to a good semester, guys. If you're willing to put in honest effort and be real with me, I will be real with you, and we'll have a great semester. But I'm hoping the ones that aren't willing or able uh, drop out pretty quickly, and we can concentrate on having a really good semester and learning some data science and big data analysis. Um, I look forward to it. There's my email. If you ever have questions or concerns, please drop me a line. There is a Ask Your Instructor discussion board in the classroom, but email really does work better. Okay, you guys take care and have a great week, and I'll see you in the discussion boards.